Greetings YouTube! Aquaman! Can anyone remember when DC films used to be kind of... yeah, me neither. No, I can. I mean, we had Man of Steel, which divided opinion, but I kind of like all of them in a weird kind of way, even though some of them are not very good. Man of Steel I did like, though. We had Dawn of Justice, which the storyline was a mess. But the fight was well worth it, I will admit. I'm not calling it Batman v Superman, screw that. Dawn of Justice is a way better title. Suicide Squad, I assume it was cooler than I thought it was, because it was really difficult to see what was going on. Black, black and more black. It's like, can I see what's going on here, please? No, you can't. And then Wonder Woman, colour, brightness, you could see what was going on. It was amazing. Well, it was amazing for them anyway. It was a very good film though, in all seriousness. And then what was next? Oh yeah, we had Justice League. Yes, I just cheated and read it off my computer. I can't remember all the titles of them. Justice League, I did like it. Good film. And you could see what was going on. The moderate amount of colour. You could feel the DC darkness trying to drag it down though in places. And then we've got Aquaman, and despite the fact that it's set on the ocean floor, which is in total pitch darkness, it's probably one of the brightest and most colourful films they've ever made. In fact, it's probably one of the most colourful films I've seen for a while. Because the lanterns can see in the dark, you see, so everything is brightly coloured. It's neon brightly coloured. You'd mistake it for a Guardians film in that respect. It's very nice to look at, very pretty, and all the underwater visuals. And I was kind of concerned how things would work underwater, because obviously a human's visibility is terrible underwater to a certain extent. It's all murky and whatnot, and I was a bit worried that the water, how would they simulate the effect of the water drifting past? How would you even know if you were underwater? And you know, would they distort the visuals and the sound? And no, actually, everything, there may be a teensy bit of watery distortion here and there, but it's not overdone. It's really not. You can see and hear everything very clearly. It's actually quite astonishing. Jason Momoa as Aquaman, or Arthur Curry. Did anyone seriously expect this film to suck? Because I didn't. I don't know why, but it doesn't seem to matter. I've seen Jason Momoa in maybe a couple of things. I've caught some snippets of Game of Thrones. I've seen him mainly in Stargate Atlantis. I know he's been in a few other things, but I haven't seen those ones. I've never seen anything where I didn't like... I don't know what it is about the guy, but he has a certain likability that he just puts across on screen. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but he does very well in the role. In Justice League, he was portrayed as this completely lunatic maverick character, and he is somewhat at the beginning of this film. It tones down as the film goes on, because obviously he's going back to Atlantis, and he's kind of having to face up to the fact that he's probably going to be king, even though he's insisting he's not going to be. Absolutely not. A certain seriousness and gravity does start to appear in his character. Yeah, but it's still the same maverick character underneath. It is very good. I like him. Amber Heard as Mera, of course. We got a look of her in Justice League. One of only two characters, including her and Superman, who managed to knock Steppenwolf on his ass, and I liked the creative way they did that with her. She just moves the water out of the way, and he just zoom. And I was wondering again what kind of powers or what kind of moves she'd have in this film as well. And she has quite a varied style. Her powers work underwater as well as on the surface if there's water nearby. She can obviously swoosh the water around, and at one point she even, or maybe more than one point, I can't remember, but she makes like blades out of the water as well. So I like the way she did that. I like the way that she's portrayed not necessarily smarter than Arthur, but certainly more knowledgeable and perhaps certainly cleverer than he is. I like the fact that the two sort of get along, but not quite. You know, they're mismatched. Let's be honest. It's kind of, if you look at the two of them in isolation, it is a little bit like a buddy cop thing that they have going on, where one of them is obviously the stronger, but the other one is the smarter one. So I like the dynamic between the two of them. Plus, I kind of like her jellyfish dress about halfway through the film. The designs are quite creative in this film. Patrick Wilson is King Orm, or Ocean Master as he's known in the comics. I think in this film, I think he's trying to earn the title of Ocean Master by uniting all the seas. I think, but doesn't that mean that technically Aquaman is Ocean Master if he unites all the seas? I don't know how it works. I don't know. It's obviously a comic book thing, but it's Ocean Master anyway. He has a very good look and a very good performance for the role. I think his motivation is basically that mankind has been dumping all their rubbish, you know, plastic, oils, chemicals, whole ships, not only the wooden ones but metal ones, boats, planes, etc., etc., has been dumped into the ocean for long enough. They've been having to deal with it, and then they send a huge tsunami onto the mainland and dump all the rubbish back on the mainland, which, yeah, it's totally understandable. He's a very good villain, and because of this effectively environmental angle they play off of, he doesn't necessarily come across as a complete villain, even though he does have a certain ruthless, megalomaniacal streak to his performance. You kind of feel like, okay, this is partly about the rubbish, but it's also partly because he just wants to be in charge. He definitely doesn't want Arthur, a half-breed, to ascend to the throne. He definitely doesn't want that. So to the point where he's obviously trying to take him out of the picture. But he does a very good job of portraying the villain, and he has excellent motivation because of the whole environmental rubbish thing that they have to deal with. Yahya Abdul Mateen II. I apologise if I just brutalised the guy's name, but I've never heard of him before, and I'm terrible with names at the best of times. Apparently this guy plays Manta, otherwise known variously, I suppose in the comic books, as Black Manta. He appears very early on in the film. Him and his pirate crew board a submarine, take it over. And guess who's in the pirate gang? His dad is in the pirate gang. And his dad got a knife from his dad, and he passes the knife onto the kid, onto Manta. And I'll give you 3 sodding guesses what happens. I don't even count it as a spoiler because you can see it coming a bloody mile away. Yeah, the dad dies, and that's why Manta goes after Aquaman. As I say, I don't even count it as a spoiler. Normally, I hate spoilers, but it's so goddamn obvious. Manta is single-minded from there on in, and they do show you the scene where that happens, obviously. And he unsurprisingly is working with the Lanteans who want to do Arthur in. And at one point they give him this suit and this really big plasma cannon which uses seawater. And somehow he manages to miniaturize this enormous gun down to a couple of lenses on the front of his helmet. I'm not quite sure how he does that, but comic book logic, never mind. It's pretty cool. And there is a reason why his helmet is about 50 miles wide in a weird shape. I did comment how, in one of the Aquaman trailers, I did comment how his look was awesome and ridiculous at the same time. And I'm not alone, because there were a few people down the front left-hand side of the cinema when this guy landed with his full outfit on and the helmet. They laughed. So I'm not alone in thinking he looked ridiculous. He is a badass in that outfit, though. It's got all kinds of tricks in it. So, yeah. He does very well at portraying the role. And he's more sort of a secondary villain to Ocean Master. But he is awesome while he's on screen, so I don't mind that he looks stupid. It's really not a problem. William Dafoe plays Volker. Yeah, I just had to read that off the screen as well. He's like a royal advisor. He's the one who secretly trains Arthur, how to fight with tridents and whatnot. And he is a main character. He doesn't do much actual action, so to speak. He is more of an advisor in this, advising both sides because he's working inside the royal court, and he does a decent job. He's not a standout role in this, is William Dafoe, but he's good as a supporting role for Arthur and Mira as they're going round, and also Orm as well, because again, royal advisor. Nicole Kidman as Atlanta. Okay, jeez. Sorry, I'm not used to these names. I keep on having to read them off the screen. But Nicole Kidman, she was in the trailers. I didn't spot her. That's just because I wasn't paying attention, I'm sure. But she has certainly one action scene, maybe two. She kicks ass in it, unsurprisingly. She's done action sequences before. I wasn't really bothered about that. And she's Arthur's mother, and she has to leave fairly early on in the film because Atlantis is constantly chasing her, trying to get her back, and because Arthur is half Atlantean, half human, and Orm doesn't like that. It feeds into the whole family dynamic that's going on. So her role, it doesn't span the whole film, but it is important for the story that they're telling, because Arthur and Orm are brothers. So Julie Andrews apparently voices the biggest character in the film. I'm not going to say any more because spoilers, but you won't miss her. I've spoken a bit about the story when I was talking about the characters. I've spoken about the very colourful visuals. I like the architecture of Atlantis. Like, they've got jellyfish that act as lanterns, and all the buildings have colour. Some of them are fully coloured. They've got coloured edges, and the plant life and everything. It's all the. I didn't expect, in all honesty, to see quite as many vehicles. There's a lot of vehicles the Atlanteans have that roam up and down the highways. Not that you can see the highways because they're just open stretches of water. I'm presuming everyone knows where they're going. I presume everyone knows the rules of the waterways. And I like how this film fits into the DC extended universe, in the sense that they haven't bothered trying to make it fit in. They've just made a film like Wonder Woman. They haven't. I think they've been in the past too obsessed with trying to create a cinematic universe. They've been too fixated on trying to catch up with Marvel. And I think by now they've realised that it wasn't working. So they've just made a film. They've just made an Aquaman film. There may have been maybe one reference somewhere. I can't honestly remember. I can't remember if there was any, but maybe there was a reference somewhere to the previous films. I don't think there was, though, because it's just not necessary. The problem is you can't just slap a Dark Universe sticker on the screen at the beginning of your film, Universal, and expect it to happen. It doesn't work like that. You've got to do a good film. You've got to focus on the film that's right in front of you, and then maybe it leads on to something else. I mean, Iron Man, the first of the Marvel films, it had a post-credit sequence where it referenced the Avengers, but it didn't rely on it in the film. It was only after they'd gotten some momentum going they started tying all the films together. And DC have kind of done it the other way around. They've tried to start with the ensemble film, and then they've separated it off into the individual films. But now they're doing the individual films, I think now they're starting to get it. I mean, the next DC film, I think, is Shazam, and I'm hopeful for these films now. Right, I tend to be Nowadays I'm wondering how good the DC films are going to be rather than how crap they're going to be. Or whether they'll just get over the hurdle of being, you know what I mean. So, yeah, but Aquaman is another great film they've come out with. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think I'm right in saying that I gave Wonder Woman an 8 out of 10. They're getting it now. They're getting it. Thank goodness. I have a sneaking liking for all of these comic book films, even Marvel at its worst. With Thor: The Dark World and The Incredible Hulk. I even kind of like those films, even though they're not that good. But yeah, they're actually making good films now with DC. You can actually legitimately point at them. I know that they've got other films besides Shazam in the pipework. They've got things like Birds of Prey and other stuff. But yeah, Aquaman's a good film. It's a great film. Definitely recommend it if you're a fan of DC stuff or just comic book films in general. I don't know how well it sticks to the comic book lore. Don't even ask me that, because I don't read the comic books. But it is a very good film, and I can recommend it. And it's Aquaman himself takes certain things a little bit more seriously, but he still retains that humour that Jason Momoa seems to have, and he's just that weird kind of, I don't know, roguish charm that he has. He's not the only one that sells the film, definitely not. There are quite a few characters that do. Amber Heard as Mera does a very good job as well. But yeah, the film as a whole, I like it. I like the various action sequences, and yeah, actually thinking about it, that's another thing that I was a bit worried about, because we had the Aquaman extended trailer, and I was a bit worried that they were showing us too much, and no, they didn't. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling now, because I've really no idea where I'm going with this. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe, and share, all that jazz. See you next time. As far as I know, the next DC film, I'm going to, because I've got the thing open here. Yeah, Shazam is the next one. In case anyone's curious, we've got Shazam in April, Birds of Prey apparently in February 2020, Cyborg again 2020, Wonder Woman 1984, that's in June 2020. Wow, we've got a long wait for the next Wonder Woman film. That's going to be painful waiting for that one. And we've got Green Lantern Corps. There's other ones as well, like The Flash apparently is getting a film, and The Batman, of course, still waiting on that. Ben Affleck obviously has stepped down from... I just think that Ben Affleck was trying to do too much on that film, to be honest, because he was trying to write it, he was trying to star in it, he was trying to direct in it. Yeah, I think he realised he'd taken on a bit much there. So I'm not worried about that film. Let them take their time. DC's on the right track is my point. Okay, now I'm going to shut up, I promise.